remember the 5th of November, the Gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why the Gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. But what of the man? I know his name was Guy Fawkes, and I know in 1605 he attempted to blow up the Houses of Parliament. But who was he really? What was he like?
Right, that's better. Just light a fuse and in exactly half an hour, one of the most audacious terrorist plots in history... That's better. Light a fuse and in just half an hour, one of the most audacious terrorist plots in history might or might not go off.
Isn't that my job?
Yes, just bear with me. So, as November the 5th looms, we present an explosive tale of intrigue and skullduggery, awful treachery, blood, guts, royalty, and sex. No expense spared, a cast of hundreds. A top expert and a garbage shed. Actually, to be honest, I lied about the sex. Like all good plots, this one begins in a pub. The Duck and Drake on the Strand, one of the most popular watering holes in all London. The group we're interested in are that lot over in the corner. What you might call today terrorists in waiting. Robert Catesby, charismatic, dangerously persuasive, ludicrously optimistic. It's all his idea, but no one remembers that. Thomas Percy, loads of aristocratic connections. Thomas Winter, trained as a lawyer. And Jack Wright, Yorkshireman, top swordsman, and a schoolmate of this bloke, brought in from fighting for the Spanish in Flanders. Bit handy with the old gunpowder. Guy, isn't it?
It's Guido, actually. You got a problem with that?
Yeah, no, very cosmopolitan, very Spanish. So what are you up to over in the corner?
Top secret, mate. Need to know only basis. Unless, of course...
Oh, what, sorry? Catholic.
We don't talk religion in this tavern.
In fact, if you valued your health, you didn't talk religion at all. The Catholics and Protestants had been at each other's throats since Henry VIII's time. Anyway, actually I am a Catholic.
You are?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Oh,
Well, in that case, we're plotting to blow up the King, Queen, Princes, and the government at the next sitting of Parliament. Then we're going to start a Catholic uprising, abduct the King's daughter, Princess Elizabeth, and proclaim her Queen. Thus making life for all us Catholics a bed of roses.
And persecute the Protestants?
Abso-bloody-lutely. The nature of the disease requires so sharp a remedy.
And there you have it. Simple, really.
The plan is terrifying in its simplicity. It is to blow up the king, the king's nearest relations, the entire nobility, the political nation, gathered together at the state opening of Parliament. In May 1604, they actually come up with the means to put this plan into effect. A house adjacent to the old House of Lords has fallen vacant. The lease has fallen vacant.
It was Thomas Percy, newly appointed to the King's bodyguards, who secured the lease on the apartment. To avoid arousing suspicion, Guy Fawkes now took up residency under the alias of John Johnson, passing himself off as Percy's servant.
Because he had been out of the country for 10 years, he was unknown in the small world that was Jacobean London. And that's always important. If you're planning treason, you need someone who can walk about the streets without arousing attention or suspicion.
Early Jacobean England was crawling with spies on the lookout for any Catholic who might be a threat to the king. The spy master in charge of the operation was Sir Robert Cecil, Secretary of State and King James's chief minister.
Introducing Robert Cecil, Chief Royal Councillor, Financial Wizard, Parliamentary Manager and the King's own spy master. Nobody knows as much about what's going on in the kingdom as this man.
And this is the man the plotters want to kill. Scottish King James, now also King of England.
When King James first came to the throne, many Catholics hoped that he would be sympathetic to their religion and allow them to worship in peace. But they were disappointed. James wished to get rid of all the Catholic priests called jesuits. Jesuits were trained abroad in Catholic countries, but the king saw them as little better than foreign spies. If a Jesuit were caught, he would be executed for treason.
Guy Fawkes is the name we associate most closely with the plot.
Indeed, when he's dragged before the sleepy king on the morning of the 5th of November and the king asks him why on earth he should have done such a thing, Fawkes says, "I wanted to blow you back to your Scottish mountains."
So why did Guy Fawkes want to blow the king back to his Scottish mountains? While writing a book exploring the religious backdrop to the Gunpowder plot, I looked at this question again and again. But what soon became clear was that, despite his popular association with the plot, the answer to it didn't lie with Fawkes. He is not the key to this story.
The ringleader of the plot was Robert Catesby, not Guy Fawkes, although Guy Fawkes has got lumbered with it. He's got lumbered with being burnt on November the 5th. I don't think we can really understand the plot unless we understand Catesby. People adored him. He was one of those men people would follow to death.
There's a charisma to Catesby, there's, if you like, a black glamour to the man. He is a mix of a very devoted Catholic, at the same time a man whose purpose in this particular plot is revenge.
There were 5 core plotters: Catesby, Fawkes, and 3 others. Thomas Percy, the oldest of the group, soon to become a bodyguard in the royal household. Tom Winter, who was Catesby's cousin and right-hand man. And Jack Wright, who was considered to be the best swordsman in England.
They saw themselves as being soldiers of Christ, the true soldiers of Christ. They had swords engraved with the words, "The Passion of Christ."
In May 1604, Robert Catesby and his associates met in the upstairs room of a London drinking house. There, Catesby outlined to them his plans for the most daring terrorist attempt this country has ever seen. But what was it that had brought the 5 men together? What had driven them to devise such a devastating atrocity?
Looking at the Gunpowder plot and the issues that created it, we should go back at least 30 to 35 years to about a dozen years into Queen Elizabeth's reign, when the Pope excommunicated her and called upon all loyal Catholics to depose her. And it was also said in certain circles to assassinate her.